What's up YouTube? It's Ben, and in this video we're going to talk about how to get recruiting clients using cold email versus LinkedIn. Alright guys, thank you so much for checking out this YouTube video. If you're not a subscriber to my channel yet, we talk about recruiting and staffing every single video, and if you like that kind of stuff, you should definitely smash that subscribe button. Also, if you're not already in my Facebook group, Six Figure Recruiters, link in description, please join the Facebook group. There's over 8,000 recruiters in there. I consistently post my content in there, answer all your questions, all kinds of stuff like that, so you should definitely be in the Facebook group. The number one thing I want to tell you is that I'm a massive advocate for cold email. That is my number one go-to, right? So I am huge on cold email, all about sequences and volume, follow-up, all that stuff that comes with cold email. However, I definitely want to make it known that LinkedIn always has a special place in your workflow in order to actually obtain recruiting clients as well. Now, the burning question, of course, is which one is better? Which one's going to get you more clients more frequently, right? I'm going to give you the pros and cons of using LinkedIn and cold email for getting recruiting clients so you can make the decision for yourself, but I'll give you my advice as well. Let's start off with LinkedIn. LinkedIn, super easy overall to make your LinkedIn page, to make your profile, to make it stand out. I have plenty of other videos about LinkedIn and how you should actually optimize your LinkedIn to make it really, really attractive for people to view it and engage with you and do all that kind of stuff. Now with LinkedIn, there is so much to unpack, and I can't unpack it all in this one video, but LinkedIn has so many add-ons, so many features that allow you to attract clientele, to interact with clientele, engage with clientele, and ultimately close clients. Some of those features would be LinkedIn automation tools like Aspharis or anything else that can basically connect with people automatically, visit profiles automatically for you so that more people want to connect with you versus you connecting with them, doing it all automated for you. I'll put the link for Aspharis in the description of this video, by the way, for you. But LinkedIn has a lot of baggage that comes with it. It's not just like a Facebook profile. The other thing about LinkedIn is everyone is there. So if you're looking for a director of a construction company or a CEO of a financial firm, you're going to find them on LinkedIn, and they have a profile there. You can engage with that profile. You can send them a connection request. You can send them an in-mail if you want to. You can use anything you'd like, a personalized GIF, all kinds of automated things to do to connect with these decision makers. Everyone is there. It's like a big networking circle. One truth about LinkedIn is that you have to have it. If you're a recruiter, you have to have a LinkedIn. I don't know what you're doing with your life if you're recruiting and you don't have a LinkedIn. So you definitely should have a profile no matter what, regardless of what you think about this video, cold email versus LinkedIn. So with that being said, you have to be on the platform. Now there's another truth about LinkedIn that I'd like to reveal. There's about maybe 10, 15 maybe % of decision makers that don't use LinkedIn. Believe it or not, they literally just don't use LinkedIn. They're not on there. They don't have a profile. They don't care about it whatsoever. They only use email or phone, things like that. They just don't touch LinkedIn. With that being said, that still leaves about 90% of decision makers that are going to be on LinkedIn and going to be reachable through LinkedIn, so you should definitely be there no matter what. The thing about LinkedIn is that it's relatively personal, right? You have your bio, you have your work experience, you have your alma mater where you went to school, you have all kinds of details about you as an actual person. So with that being said, it's a little bit more intimate than cold email, right? Cold, intimate, you get the deal. So when you connect with someone, you're finding out a lot of information about them. Oh, maybe we attended the same fraternity. Maybe we were in the same sorority, right? That kind of thing. You can pick up on these different cues from someone's profile that you would never know about them if you were just cold emailing them. That, of course, begs the question, does that give you a huge advantage over just cold email and follow-up, right? I really don't know. Stats have proven that cold email is really, really effective. And personalized cold email is also really effective, which we'll talk about in a second. But back to LinkedIn. With LinkedIn, when you connect with someone, you instantly are putting a face to the message. So with that being said, you can't do that on cold email. Cold email is just a name with a message. It's relatively generic. One could make the argument that LinkedIn is sort of a wham bam instant sort of platform, because as soon as you connect with someone, you know instantly who they are, what they do, where they went to school, what they're talking to you about, why they're messaging you, and what it's all about. So as soon as you receive that message, that decision maker is going to know whether or not they want to respond to you. Like I said before, LinkedIn has everyone on it, right? So everybody's on LinkedIn. It's like the place to be. With that being said, it's very crowded. It's a crowded space. So there's a lot of people making a lot of noise on LinkedIn, messaging, posts, content, all that kind of stuff. So decision makers' inboxes can get filled up pretty quick with a lot of different pitches per se, right? Or opportunities and things of that sort. Now that's kind of a bummer for LinkedIn when you're trying to get recruiting clients, because you can't really spearhead and go in straight with a cold email versus a crowded, kind of busy, noisy environment where a lot of people are talking to a lot of different people at the same time. I think at the end of the day, you have to have a LinkedIn profile. People need to have the visibility of you being on LinkedIn. And it's also a multi-effect when you can email someone cold and also provide a LinkedIn profile so they can put a face to the email. Anyone that's ever watched a video of mine probably knows that I absolutely love cold email and follow up on cold email. So here's the deal with cold email, right? First things first, most everybody checks their email. If you're a decision maker, you are almost living inside of your inbox. It's literally that bad these days. With that being said, you have a huge opportunity to get inside someone's inbox approximately 7 times, 4 days apart on a cadence, which is essentially an email sequence, right? That you would run to continuously market to that decision maker to get them to reply to you. One really cool thing about cold email is that's not weird to do on cold email, but that would be weird if you did it on LinkedIn. If you connected with someone, then sent them 7 messages back to back to back to back without any response from them, that would be a little bit weird just because of the nature of the platform and the way it's used. There's also another thing I love about cold email, and that is that it's kind of heavy-handed, right? So when you send someone an email, it holds a little bit more weight than just a LinkedIn connection or a LinkedIn follow-up message. Let's just be real about it. When you receive an email from someone, you check it out and you take a look, and you probably take it a little bit more seriously than you would a LinkedIn connection or just a message from somebody random on LinkedIn. In my personal recruiting experience, I feel like that decision makers totally take email way differently than they do a connection request on LinkedIn. My opinion is that they take it as something more important, something that's more relevant, maybe something that needs attention more urgently than anything on LinkedIn. And with that being said, that's why I gear more towards cold email and especially follow-up. So like I said before, sending 7 emails to the same person over about 3 weeks or so isn't weird on cold email. But that's the cool thing about cold email. The fact that you can hit someone that many times with follow-up, which is completely necessary, or you're leaving tons of money on the table. To nail down a recruiting client, you absolutely have to be following up with them on a continuous basis. These are busy people. They're hiring managers. They have their own duties and jobs at their own workplace, right? So when you're trying to connect with them, it's really important that you hit them once, twice, 3, up to 7 times, and usually get a response somewhere around email number 4 or email number 5. Cold email also allows you just to be a little bit more long-winded if you choose to be, right? I always recommend that people just keep it brief and concise. However, if you need to contain detail about your value proposition or anything like that, cold email is where it's at. When you want to put a signature at the bottom with a logo, make it all look nice and spiffy, you could do that on a cold email, not so much on a LinkedIn message. When I put all of that together, for me personally, cold email just hits harder. Now, to get recruiting clients, I absolutely think that you need to be utilizing both platforms: cold email outreach with follow-up, as well as LinkedIn outreach with automation. In fact, a lot of the times you're actually finding emails that you're gonna cold email off of LinkedIn utilizing automation. In summary, work smarter, not harder. Use both of these platforms to their strengths, right? You know which one is stronger in which area, you know which one is weaker in which area. So utilize each platform in its strongest format for the best capabilities that you can to win over and ultimately close recruiting clients. If you have any input, drop that in the comments on whether you use cold email or LinkedIn, what your preference is, what works best for you, what experiences you've had. I'd love to hear them, love to comment back and learn from what you guys are doing. And of course, if you found any value in this video, please smash that like button, subscribe if you're not a subscriber already, and hit the bell alert button so that you know every time I come out with a brand new video. Until then.